Readyflor UniClick is Australia's leading hardwood floating floor system. The pre-finished and engineered boards click together using the patented UniClick joining system and float over a 2mm foam underlay. This video will provide information on preparation, installation, profiles, and maintenance. It will also provide information on the installation of Readyflor standard with the traditional glue-together tongue and groove joint. Start your installation by watching this video carefully and by reading a copy of the comprehensive instructions found in each pack. A successful installation will rely heavily on strict adherence to these instructions. The most common causes of failure are uneven subfloors, inadequate expansion gaps at the floor perimeter, and in the case of Readyflor standard, improper gluing of the tongue and groove interface. The Readyflor installation kit contains a tapping block, a pulling iron, and expansion wedges. You will also require a Stanley-type knife, tape measure, and other general woodworking tools, non-hardening filler in a matching color, power tools, and safety equipment. Along with your Readyflor UniClick, you'll need enough premium or quiet step combi lay to cover the floor area. You will also need enough scotia or skirting for the floor perimeter and the right selection of profiles for meeting up to other floor coverings or thresholds. We will look at these later in the video. It is critical to firstly establish a subfloor where level variation does not exceed 3 mm per lineal meter. This is measured with a 1 meter straight edge. Remember, an uneven subfloor may lead to movement of the flooring underfoot and associated crackling noise, so it is important to get it right. Self-leveling compounds can be used over concrete, while timber subfloors can be sanded or sheeted with plywood as necessary. Readyflor can be installed over existing hard floor coverings as long as they meet the requirements for levelness. Readyflor must be installed over a continuous damp-proof membrane when installed over concrete subfloors or timber subfloors directly above ground. After sweeping the floor, combi lay is rolled out along the starting wall with the plastic down, peel and stick side to the wall. Combi lay underlay provides a continuous damp proof with a 100mm overlap and integrated peel and stick tape. Additional rows are rolled out with tape down over the extended clear overlap. The wax tape can then be withdrawn, forming the continuous damp proof. Cut ends must be taped with a waterproof tape. In the instance of wet or water-affected subfloors or heated subfloors, always use 200 micron builder's plastic sheeting, overlapping joins by 300 mm, taping joins with waterproof tape, and turning up at the walls or vertical fixtures. Special guidelines for installation over heated subfloors can be found at premiumfloors.com.au. All architraves and door jambs should be undercut using a flexible handsaw with a scrap of flooring and underlay as a guide. Use the same scrap of board and underlay to also check door clearances. Pre-install any profiles as necessary at this time. We will look at profiles more closely later in this video. Select the starting wall along which the first rows are to be laid. Start with the boards tongue side to the wall and install a 10mm spacer along the left-hand wall. Start the second row with an offcut, allowing a stagger of at least 300mm. In general, the offcut from the end of each row can be used as the starting piece for the next row. Use the spaces provided to retain the perimeter gap at the left-hand wall. The boards are then joined by rotating the long side, Then with the use of the tapping block, the boards are carefully tapped up to engage the end joint. Use the pulling tool where it is not possible to use the block provided. Assemble the first 3 rows, ensuring a minimum end stagger of at least 300 millimeters. Once complete, the first 3 rows can now be pushed up to the starting wall, with spacers installed to retain the expansion gap. If the starting wall is uneven, it may be necessary to scribe and cut the first row of boards at this time to properly accommodate the expansion gap. Continue the installation from left to right by engaging the long side and tapping up to close the end joints. You may also find it easy in some instances to engage the end joint first and then to lift and rotate the long side. This is called the angle and angle installation technique. It is also possible to install the boards from right to left to allow boards to be brought in under pre-fitted profiles or undercut architraves. Readyflor Standard is glued together at the tongue and groove joint using premium PVA adhesive. A continuous solid bead of adhesive is applied to the upper edge of the groove. Boards are then brought into place using the tapping block and hammer. Engage the end joint first, then starting at the open end, work your way along the board back to the end joint to ensure tight end joints. Remove any squeeze out of adhesive with a damp cloth. Dry PVA residue can be removed using premium glue remover. Insufficient adhesive or incorrect positioning of the glue line can lead to weak tongue and groove joints with the associated movement and noise. Continue to lay the boards, taking care at transitions to other floor coverings. The final row can now be trimmed to fit and brought into place. Remember to leave the minimum 10mm gap at the entire floor perimeter. In larger floors or in areas of high humidity, a larger gap will be required. Where the final row is to be brought into an undercut architrave, an end joint can be positioned to allow boards to be brought in from each side. Skirting boards can now be fitted to cover the perimeter gap. Where skirting boards have been left in place, the colour-matched scotia can now be fitted where possible. This must be fastened to the vertical surface only, allowing the floor to expand freely. Other profiles can now be installed. Any sections of the floor perimeter that are not covered by the scotia or profiles should be filled with a non-hardening caulking compound of a matching colour. Any visible gaps between boards should also be filled in this way. The floor can now be finally swept and furniture moved in. The Prestige profile system consists of 6 profiles in a range of timber and metal finishes. The end profile is for pre-fit applications to vertical surfaces and floor coverings. The border profile allows for post-fit application to vertical surfaces and floor coverings. There's the universal profile, which can be installed as a connector for surfaces of equal height or as a small ramp for surfaces of unequal height. The ramp profile is to accommodate large steps in floor levels, while the stair profile provides a professional finish for all stair applications. Finally, there is the Scotia profile for covering of the perimeter gap where skirting boards are already installed. In general, start by anchoring the base profile using the peel and stick backing, then screwing or nailing as required. The plastic inserts are inserted into the top profile at 150mm intervals. The top profile can now be press fit onto the base. A block and hammer may be useful here. Your Readyflor retailer will be able to help you with the available colour range and the sizes and lengths available to meet your requirements. Like all timber floors, Readyflor will mark and scratch with normal use. Proper maintenance will help to keep your floor looking better for longer. Sweep or vacuum regularly to control abrasive grit. Install dirt trapping mats at all external doors. Always install felt floor protectors under all movable furniture. General cleaning is best performed with premium cork and timber cleaner with a barely damp mop. For best results, the floor can be toweled off afterwards. Readyflor can be recoated or resanded like traditional wood flooring. Premium Floors supplies a range of water-based and solvent-based coatings for this application. Full maintenance guidelines and numerous technical specifications can be found at premiumfloors.com.au or through your nearest Readyflor retailer.